Good, beautiful morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today we have an interesting subject. The discussion is going to be on transcending the shadow. It's really interesting. My guardian angel John and Archangel Michael came in to talk to me about this today. The shadow. Transcending the shadow. Michael said every single human soul, once they come into a physical body, acquires a shadow self. The shadow self is not some mystical, demonic organism. It is a function of a part of your nature called survival. And he said, this part of our nature, your body, can be incredibly lethal and destructive and damaging because the body's, again, got billions of years of experience surviving, stored in our DNA. I said, that's really fascinating. And he said, but most people do not understand the distinction between the shadow of survival and the divinity of creation in yourselves. Imagine that. If you understood the difference between your divinity and the aspect of your body that's based in survival, that many of the destructive and aberrant behaviors that you are seeing emerging in your cities, in your cultures, in your societies, are products of this shadow completely left ungoverned, running amok in your streets. All the while, the justification for its behavior simply being that it had to do it, which is nothing more nor less than survival. The nature of the shadow is that it is completely based in surviving. It can be absolutely ruthless and brutal and mean and destructive, your shadow. When your body is placed in a position where it thinks its life is threatened, it will do whatever it takes to survive. It will even surrender itself if it feels that its survival is dependent upon that. If you understand the distinction between survival and creation, at least then you have a glimpse that you are not simply just a bundle of fear and anxiety running around trying to find what you need to exist, but that you are this other element, this divine nature. But you cannot subjugate your divinity to your animal nature. Your body is an animal. Let me be perfectly clear about this. Your body is an animal. And it has billions of years of animal experiences stored in the structure of its DNA. And so when you are trying to overcome your anger or your fear or your guilt or your shame, all of which are functions of survival, then you are also seeking to overcome billions of years of acquired experiences that say the only way to exist is through fight or flight, destruction, or escape. And nothing can be further from the truth. But this requires a degree of awareness, a recognition that you are not your body, that it is an instrument, a manifestation through which you are learning to cultivate a level of authority and autonomy over the process of creation. That is, you can use the body in constructive, positive, and powerful ways as equally as you can subjugate yourself to its whims and wishes and be extremely destructive and deconstructive. It does not take a great effort once you understand this distinction between your physical organism and what and who you are as a spiritual consciousness, arriving in a dimension where you can acquire experience over creation. The very substance of biology can surrender itself to your authority. It does so every moment you tell your body to get up or sit down, or you tell it to drink or eat or make a certain type of meal. The body doesn't really care about anything else other than what it eats, what it sleeps, and whether it procreates or not. That is all your body fundamentally cares about. It is not a noble consciousness, although it can be made into a vehicle for noble consciousness to express through. And what is noble consciousness? Noble consciousness is love, compassion, creativity, playfulness, intelligence, reason. And you want to ennoble your body with your consciousness, not become subjective or remain subjective to it. When you hear the screaming and the yelling of people in the streets demanding that you be a certain way or do a certain way, or else you are faced with an animal whose survival, rightly or wrongly, believes it is threatened, and that you are the threat, and that it must somehow eliminate you. And these poor individuals are caught in the shadow of their own ignorance, with beliefs and ideas fundamentally garnered to create and generate fear in themselves and in others. And there are many that have fallen under the darkness of the shadow. That is the animal survival-based nature of your biology. And yet there is an equal number of people also awakening to this realization that the body is not an instrument to remain subjective to, but a vehicle through which to creatively and intelligently articulate creative expressions. Yes, for those of you that are wondering, this is the energy of Archangel Michael I'm channeling right now. And he said it was really important that we understand this distinction between your body and what you are as a soul. It's important that you know that who is speaking. We have borne witness to the destruction of many civilizations that fell under the darkness of the shadow. In your more recent languages, it was called the animus, the animal, the baser needs of fight and flight, the belief that one's survival depends exclusively on what it can acquire from the environment, whether that be in the form of food or possessions. Your shadow is right under your nose, and many of you do not see it. But the moment you see it, in that moment you have a chance to choose between life and death. For ultimately the shadow in its workings leads to death. Although it can be employed in various ways to be very creative too, in that if you're not subjective to your anger and not subjective to your desire to attack and harm others, then you can utilize that energy creatively. You can redirect the energy of the shadow to work as a servant to you and to not keep you in servitude. As many of you are in servitude to your anger and your fear and your doubts, fully understanding that that is not your true nature, to be in doubt, to be in anger, to be in fear. That is the nature of the body, the shadow that you utilize while you are here. Hopefully understanding better how you function as a creative intelligence in a physical dimension of time and space. It is what this dimension was created for, to create masters of the shadow, masters of creation, masters of noble expressions such as love, compassion, respect, integrity, honor. But to understand those concepts of the creative intelligence that you are, you must begin to acknowledge that you are possessed of a shadow. that has its own unique set of needs and wants and will. It bases itself primarily on sensation, not on reason. And if you are willing to look at this, much of what you eat, much of what you drink, much of what you say, much of what you do, you would not be doing if you understood the nature of who you are relative to this biological organism that you find yourself inhabiting. Hearing these words through, that instrument that takes information from this environment in through the 5 physical senses and presents it to you to make an assessment, creatively or subjectively. And in the moment you decide, I will not remain subjective to what these senses are presenting to me, I will consider and weigh the value of them. And there is but one measure to utilize. Is the actions, the thoughts and words that would seek to emanate from your body or your own consciousness. Are these functions of love or functions of fear? Are they functions of love or are they functions of fear? It can be very obvious, but once captivated by the shadow, one believes that they are the shadow. When you are lost in fits of anger or rage, you become the shadow. And many of you cry and moan afterwards saying, why did I do this? Why did I do this, you say? Because you surrendered to the shadow. And it was not imposed upon you, although there is great credence to support now that there is in fact a concerted effort to keep many of you in the shadow, in your anger, in your impetus for survival exclusively, a deliberate effort to keep you disconnected from your spiritual consciousness and your creative intelligence through manipulations of information that would seek to keep you enslaved to your animal nature. When I came to this one today, it was with great excitement and certainty that there would be some among you that would hear these words and listen to them and be fearless in looking at the shadow in every moment where it seeks to say, I want this, I must have this, I demand it be this way. The shadow is aggressive and disrespectful, cares only about itself, has little regard for the well-being and welfare of others. And this is not just for those that are lowly upon the streets, as you might say, but those in your great hallowed halls live from this, although they can put on great robes of gold and jewels. They hide behind them the darkness that they use to acquire such wealth and power and authority. There is no human, because that is what you become when you come into this world, when you inherit a body to utilize in a lifetime. You essentially become what is defined as a human. And in that state of humanity, you must battle with your shadow and overcome it. Put it into subjectivity to you so that it becomes your servant and not your master. Do not be the servant of others unless it is a function higher than the function of the shadow. To serve others as a function of love is a very noble act indeed. But do not be fooled by those in great positions of authority, because they may look well and sound well, that they have your best interests at heart. If that were truly the case, then everyone would be equally attired and equally comfortable. For you have the great resources upon this planet to create a civilization that is grand in a sense that has not been seen since the days of Atlantis. But you find yourselves here now at a pinnacle of creation, choosing, balancing very precariously between your shadow and your soul, your light and your dark, your love and your fear, very precariously balanced. One wrong move, collectively speaking, and there will be a veritable change that could be less than desirable for many of you, and even less desirable for a smaller number. The functions of your shadow self is based on the nature of your biology, which gets entwined and entangled with your psychology, your personality, the beliefs, the ideas. Many of them are originating from your shadow self, from survival. Many of the conceptions, many of the forms of education and health that you see upon the planet today are based on the shadow self, not based on the function of your divinity, not based on the function of love. Love clearly understands the distinction between morality and immorality. It clearly understands the distinction between right and wrong. It clearly understands the distinction between good and evil. And there are about a handful of you on this planet that fully understand and are able to effectively articulate an authority over your shadow self that you can create great wonders and works. Your civilizations as they appear, while they seem to be in decay, rose up from the efforts of those who understood the nature of utilizing the power and energy of their shadow self in the process of creation, who did not remain subjective to it. And yet there is a level of responsibility with them also, in that they had their own desires and wants and ended up creating systems that subjugated people instead of liberating them like they were intended to do. To understand just how incredibly marvelous and beautiful that you are as a spiritual consciousness. To understand the responsibility that was given to you when you came into this physical world, to learn to assert your authority creatively and lovingly over your world. This has unfortunately become lost to many of you. But that does not mean that it cannot be found, for it can be found in the moment you turn away from the shadow. And how might you do that? You might do that by choosing not to be angry, but rather to be creative. You might choose to do that by not being jealous or greedy. You might do that by lifting your neighbors up. There are many ways that you can tame your shadow, but you cannot ignore it. You cannot deny it. You cannot pretend that it is not there. And if you are subjective to it, it is far more difficult to get a handle on it. If you are so prone to being angry or disappointed, jealous or fearful, and you have come to become familiar with that function of expression, then it is very difficult indeed to make that distinction, but not impossible. That you can make that distinction between love and fear. At all times, you have the ability in any moment to stop, to pause, to evaluate, is this thought, is this action a function of love or a function of fear? Is this a function of my shadow or a function of my divinity? And in the end, if you make the right choices, your shadow will have to submit itself to your command and direction. And all those who create and do good works have learned this and lived this. And so too, if you wish to find peace, you must understand how to train your shadow to be your servant and no longer your master. Those of you that suffer in broken and damaged bodies from years of misuse and abuse, for those of you, it is not too late to begin to evaluate and to begin to choose, for it is only in the process of evaluation and proper choice that you can begin to disentangle yourself from the darkness of your shadow. To not eat certain things that you know you should not eat. To not let your body consume those things because its senses seem to be far more valid than what is right. That something tastes good or smells good is more important than whether or not it actually is good. If you can surrender that, say, I know this is not good for this body. I will not put it in this body. And you might say, but I can't, I've got an uncontrollable way to do this. You say this, we hear you say this all the time. And we would say to you, do not lie to yourself. Do not accept the excuses of your shadow, for it will do everything and anything to tell you it should be given what is it wants and desires, whether it is good for it or not. It simply says, I desire that, I want it. I want that poison food. I want those toxic things because they make my senses feel so very good. And you might say, well, I do not have enough willpower to do this. And I would say to you, indeed, you have the willpower of God within you to say no, to say yay. And if you realize this, the day you realize this, that you have the power and authority to say no to the demands of the flesh, say no to its seductions, then you will begin to be reborn into the function of creation, your capacity to deliberately and intentionally articulate your creative expression, to rediscover your purpose. You will not find your purpose in suffering, although you may derive a purpose from it. But to end your own suffering through functions and acts, through reasons of love, this will take you back to the light and away from the shadow. If you understand the distinction that this physical instrument in which you are hearing these words from me right now, if you understand that that physical instrument is designed by nature to be your servant and not your master, and that you have been wrongly led to believe that it somehow has some greater authority over you than you do over it. Once you realize that, you will begin a different process of creation. Your suffering will begin to end. Suffering does not have to take a long time to end. You can end your suffering very quickly and effectively if you're willing to assert your will over your flesh. And you do all the time. The mere act of raising a hand or an arm, or inclining your body to smile, or telling it to pick up a glass and drink. You have authority over your temple. If you utilize and use that authority, then you shall find yourself becoming free. You are not here to suffer. You are here to create. But if you remain subjective to your shadow self, then suffering you will experience consistently and repeatedly until you finally surrender and say, I do not wish to suffer anymore. I wish to live in love. Love is not something you acquire from the world around you, although you can experience goodness from the world around you. Love is a function of your creative consciousness. It's not something to acquire, it's something to be and become. And if you're willing to do this, you will find liberation will come fairly quickly. I have seen it many times. Thank you. So this is really exciting, isn't it? That we all have this shadow self. And I can tell you firsthand, I've dealt with my shadow self for many decades. And I'm at this place now where I'm finally got enough knowledge and experience from dealing with it myself that I've aligned myself to a high enough frequency of love that I can now receive guidance and information from beings that are functioning on that level of consciousness, and then being a conduit for that information to share with you. I want to thank Archangel Michael, my guardian angel John, for bringing this subject to me today. It's really important you understand this, that your shadow is not who you are, but it must be tamed by you. No pill, no drug will tame your shadow. And your shadow may be great, but you are greater. You really are. You're greater than any shadow part of yourself. You are. You've got it so that you can become the divinity that you are. Your suffering is not without opportunity. Remember that. Your suffering is not without opportunity. It always has opportunity. Wonderful. Thank you for sending love to all here. Hi, guys. Good morning. I'm going to take these banners off here. So this is was Archangel Michael and my guardian angel John on transcending the shadow, and I think it's a very beautiful a beautiful consideration, and that we all have to face at some point. You have to face the realization, the reality that your body is not who you are. It's the instrument, the animal that you inherit when you come into this physical dimension. And people think that by reducing population or other means of trying to get rid of the dark and weak parts of humanity, no, that's not the way you do it. You do it through education. And I'm not talking about the education in universities and high schools today, because they're just systems of teaching people to become mimics of information, not opening up any real sense of reason. Although we are fortunate enough to have many individuals who come through the conventional education system unscathed enough that they were able to take from it very high levels of functioning, enable themselves to contribute greatly to humanity. So when I say that generalization about education, I say that that's true for the majority of people. The majority of people get chewed up and spit out by education with nothing but debt and disappointment. Not because they want that. That wasn't the intention. But inside each and every human being, there's a type of education that you learn from being. And if you start with one simple step, where I started 4.5 years ago, is this function, is this word, is this idea a function of love? Just begin that. If you begin that process, yes, I will. We will take questions, and he will take questions too. You begin that process right now. Is what's going on in my mind a function of love? Because your mind is not you either. The mind is just the information you've acquired from the world. It formulates the personalized identity that's unique to that physical body, but it's not who you are. So you have to look in your mind and see, is there love in my mind or fear in my mind? Anger in my mind? Joy in my mind? And begin the process of refusing to engage in thoughts, ideas, and actions that aren't based in love. Going up to screaming at somebody to try and force them to believe what you want them to believe is not an act of love. That's not an act of love. Screaming is not an act of love. And that's, again, somebody stuck in their shadow. Must have patience and forgiveness from them. They suffer in their screaming. They have no idea what they're doing, the energy they're creating, not only for themselves. You see these people going out and doing these shootings in schools, they're lost in their shadow self. They believe that their survival is dependent upon harming other people. That's the shadow. You're not your shadow self. And if you start questioning the thoughts, the words, and actions, not only in your own mind and through your own body, but what you're listening to. What are you getting from TV? What are you getting from entertainment? What are you getting that tells you this is love? But there's a war, that you should be afraid of the economy. These are all things that cause fear. These are not functions of love. And you must make that discernment yourself. And until you make that discernment, there's no end to your suffering. I know that because I've suffered for many years in my ignorance, in my stupidity, my unwillingness to evaluate. And again, these last 4.5 years have really opened my eyes to learning that process. And it's not been easy, but it's been a lot better than it ever has been. And it can be a lot better for you too. Just that simple step. Is what I'm hearing, is what I'm thinking, is what I'm saying, is what I'm doing. Are any of these things loving? Do they lift you up? Do they pull you down? Anybody who wants to keep you in fear is stuck in their shadow self. Anybody who wants to keep you in fear and anger is stuck in their shadow self. And there's no short supply of people that want you to suffer along with them. But there's also no short supply of people who say, wake up, arise, ascend. You're a function of divinity. You're a function of creative intelligence. You can do anything and be anything that's within the scope of your ability to imagine it creatively and intelligently. But you see these distorted things that are going on in humanity now, these distortions of humanity that are happening because the shadow is, again, taking root in humanity. Someone saying, do I have anyone watching over me? I always feel like I do, but I'm not sure who. BG.A. What I want you to do is go to a forest. Go to a forest. Get in the forest. Find the biggest tree you can get to. and just lean against the tree. Just lean against the tree. And then think in your mind, I want to feel the energy of she who is watching me, because it's a female. But I want you to experience the energy for yourself. And she's been guiding you for a while. You're a little slow, she says. But you need to experience your experience of her. Simply telling you what we know does not loan itself to liberating you to understand what you yourself can acquire in terms of knowledge and experience, but we can certainly point you in the direction so that you can have the experience, because it is the experience that is the nature that actually teaches you anything. What we can say or express here to you is simply information, but your experience acquired from the information is far more valuable. Oh, thank you for that wonderful heart on my head. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So that whole process of experience is far more valuable than anything that can be said to you or read in a book or watched in a movie. For you to experience connecting to the energy of this one is more important than us telling you who she is and why she's been trying to help you for the last 5 years, right? Thank you so much. So Tanya is saying, who's my guide? I've been told it's a Frenchman, but I don't know of any. I'm not getting, for you, Tanya. No, I'm getting more like nature, like there's literally little. I'll use the term fairies because the energy is very light. It's not heavy. It's very light. And again, going around like flower gardens. For you, like going around flower gardens and just watch the insects and allow yourself to feel the energy of the movement of the insects, and that will put you in touch with the energy of, because insects are not flying as a result of air displacement. Insects are flying because of the electromagnetic field they generate with their wings, and that causes a change in the gravitational field relative to themselves in the body. So you want to experience the energy of fairies. That's an easy way to do it. Get tuned into the energy of like flying insects, and then sense the energy of them around. But yeah, I get this. This is like a really light energy, nature spirits, especially around gardens. These ones, flower gardens. Jenny's asking, will I be able to retire soon? Jenny, I would think you'd like to. Yes, you can if you choose to. I'm being told to tell you, yes, you can. You can choose to retire from the job, but that is not your work. Your work is different than the job, and your work you have not discovered yet. You must discover your work, and your work is your love and expression. And if you find what love's expression is through you, you will know what your work is. Many of you are seeking meaning and purpose in life, and it's very difficult to do if you do not know the nature of who you are, the nature and function of love through you. The function of love through you will create a very different experience of being than the function of survival. And many of you get into these jobs and these functions of existence, not because you need a job, but because you are based in survival, disconnected from creation. You're caught in the shadow self, which is all about survival. But in that day where you begin to awaken your love's expression, what thought is of love, what act is of love, then you will begin to awaken to your purpose. It's hard to know your purpose. When you're caught in your shadow self, you won't know your purpose. You'll feel disconnected from it. A lot of people are caught in their shadow self, in their pain, in their fear, in their guilt, in their shame, in their sadness. And it disconnects you from who you really are as a spiritual entity here to learn creation. But restoring yourself to a function of love will loan itself to liberating you from that suffering. Just do that for a week. Anybody who's listening here, please do this for a week. Go around and every thought you think, do the best you can to question, is this a thought of love? What would a thought of love be instead? Is this word I'm about to speak a word of love or creation? What word would I choose that would reflect that? What actions am I doing? Are these actions the actions of love? and do that for a week and watch what starts to occur around you. Because the minute you start changing the energy, once you start focusing away from survival into creation from an energy of love, you start to experience pretty profound changes. And I witness that on a daily basis, doing readings with people where people come in with terrible pain and suffering. And in the end of an hour, their guides and angels have healed them. Just because they shifted their awareness from survival to love. They were guided away from their fear and into the vibration of love. Love creates very differently than survival does. It really does. I can tell you that firsthand. Good morning. Hey, Con. Good morning. Good to see you. Question from Joseph Nakuchi. What do you think of Catholic priest exorcism? Well, that's a great question, Joseph. And again, let me ask Michael, because he's far better. He's laughing, actually. Michael's laughing. Yes. He says the function of exorcism is merely the authority of one to subdue another. You must understand this process of exorcism is an attempt to remove the shadow self from the individual, which is not necessarily advisable, because then it simply leaves the individual subjected then to that individual who liberated them from their shadow self, but they have not taught them how to awaken their divinity. So as to whether or not we think that that is a good function, we disagree. We would simply say, you yourself are more than capable of exercising your own shadow through your function of love. As this one said just a few moments ago, your ability to consider, is this a thought of love? Is this a word of love? Is this an action of love? The mere choice to do that will begin the process of sending your shadow self into servitude to you. For your shadow self depends upon violence and aggression. It depends upon that in order to thrive in this world. And the function of love to it is like a poison. And it will certainly surrender itself to you when faced with love. I have borne witness to this in many situations and circumstances where the function of love transcends the shadow. And it is capable, and you are all able to do this. Your love is capable, and you are able to do this, to overcome your shadow. We'll be doing the meditation in just a couple minutes. Going to go. Just thank you for the gifter badge. Really appreciate that. Hi guys, good to see you. Oh, somebody said they had an amazing reading with me. Yeah, thank you, Creative Life. Yeah, they are pretty amazing. I never did the same one twice. Christopher is putting up here Act 19:15. Evil spirit answered them, Jesus, I know. And Paul, but who are you? And the man or evil spirit leaped on them, mastered all of them, and overpowered them, so they fled out of that house. It's interesting. That's an interesting metaphor, that statement, Christopher, because your body is the temple of the living God. Every one of you, your body is the temple of the living God. You are, for lack of a better term, an aspect of that living God. You are an aspect of it. That you came here to learn to rule the kingdom, your mind and body, with love. That's really simple. You need to learn to do that. I like that. Somebody's saying highway. They're saying, good morning. Today I have a dry throat. I feel vulnerable. Any message for me? First of all, your dry throat, your body's also meant to work for you, not against you. And your body can only communicate to you. Drink some more water, for starters. Highway, start drinking water. If you can, put a bit of Celtic sea salt in your water. Add electrolytes to your body. The feeling of vulnerability you have right now, you need to pause, turn your attention to the feeling of vulnerability. Like, turn your attention to the feeling of vulnerability. I know you're feeling it. And just speak these words to that feeling of vulnerability. Speak these words to that feeling of vulnerability in your body. And these are the words: I am with you, I will love you, and I will take care of you, even if I don't understand you. and speak those words with kind authority. And then share with us what happens to your vulnerability right after you do that. Would really appreciate it. Share it in the comments. Question from Baba Gira. I bumped into a knowing space that is very powerful, but its perspective doesn't really have any concerns for the well-being of others. Is this the dark side? The dark side can be, well, what Michael's calling the shadow self can be really dark. I mean, people like Hitler and Mussolini exemplified the ultimate epitome of its pinnacle of evil, of its darkness. And we're seeing that with the war in Ukraine, the orchestrations going on by the great so-called superpowers of the planet, China, Russia, and America. We see this interesting little dance of that darkness again. It's the same darkness that they are executing that was the same darkness in Hitler and Mussolini. Their function, those that would choose war are not choosing love. Those that would choose greed are not choosing love. So again, when you encounter that energy where it feels not loving, you can speak these words to that energy is not loving. You can say, no matter what I think or feel or believe about you, I love you. The vibration of love will change the function of survival, the function of instinct, the function of the shadow. When you encounter the shadow from an energy of love, if it's true, if it's not an energy where you're trying to like belittle them or be better than them or make fun of them, if your love is true and pure towards another human being in their darkest place, and you are truly in love, they will literally be changed, or they will flee. I've seen it many times, where people will flee in the face of love. It's an amazing thing to watch. Why a lot of people, have a difficult time when Master Jesus comes around, when he pops into their lives. Demons will flee from his energy because it's pure love, right? Literally. And demons are the darkest expression of the shadow self. And we're seeing that, right? The three great so-called superpowers are the darkest expressions right now of our shadow selves, right? Gotta get over that. Yes, we will get to that in a second, I promise. Yeah. So until you're willing to look at the shadow and admit, that you've got darkness, that you've got anger, that that's part of what your biology does in terms of survival. The minute you realize what the distinction between who you are as a spiritual consciousness and what your body is as a physical organism based in survival, and what your mind is a personality construct made up by the world, then you can learn to assert authority over both of them. Because again, you have to assert authority over your mind too, right? So the meditation today is going to be really simple, really short, and really sweet. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Why I can't like the video on the screen? If you want to like the video or subscribe to the channel, go to my YouTube channel. Because I do live events. They told me never to do recorded events, so all these are live. They said that way you can't make shit up, that what comes out, and it is what it is, and people either will accept it or they will not. That's what they told me. So we only do live events. But if you, the only place there are recordings are, if you want, you go over to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/William Michael Forbes, or just search William Michael Forbes, and you can like the video, share the video, become a subscriber on my YouTube channel. But if you're here on TikTok, you can certainly go to any of my videos on my page. You can follow me on TikTok. You can offer any support. You can ask specific questions if you want through my app, through my link tree on my bio at TikTok. People on YouTube, if you want to support the channel, can easily use the super chat feature. Yeah, but if you want to, please go to my channel, my YouTube channel, and share the video. It won't be up on the site until after this live event is closed and the video is rendered through the YouTube system. But there's over 800 videos on my channel of different channelings from many different beings, from many different dimensions and timelines that provide information and wisdom and knowledge. You're going to watch it and you're going to be like, they all say the same thing in slightly different words. All great teachers basically say the same thing in different words. It's really fascinating when you realize that. So somebody say, Lisa Bay is saying, I've been noticing a lot of signs, but not sure what my guides are trying to draw my attention to. Okay, it's not that they're trying to draw your attention to the signs. Okay, the next time you start getting signs, stop and pause and feel the energy, feel the feeling, the sensation. What is the feeling to the sign you're getting? And it's more about the transmission of information as a sensation than it is about the sign of the 1111 and the 2222 and the flashes of light. Those are just their way of saying, pay attention. I'm near you. I want to connect to you. Allow yourself to simply say, I'm open and receptive to receiving the guidance that's being provided at this moment. So anytime you get one of those signs, turn your attention inward and go, I'm open and receptive to receiving this guidance. That's all you need to do. And things will suddenly start to happen around you because now you're accepting the energy and the information. Even if you don't consciously know what it is, you're receiving the energy, right? Kind of like a baby in the womb, as the body is being developed, as that soul's body is being developed for it, it simply receives energy from the environment. In this case, the womb of the mother, it receives energy coming in. And as it allows itself to receive that energy, its body grows. The same thing too when you're receiving signs and symbols from the environment. It's not about the signs and symbols. It's about the vibration of the guidance, the feeling, the sensation, the energy that's being communicated, right? Which is what channeling and being a medium is I'm allowing vibrational energy and information to just flow freely through the system, all the while making certain that vibrational energy feels in alignment to the frequency of love as best I can. Because as an awareness, as an individual, I'm still an individual, but I open up to allowing information to flow in, providing that it's coming on a vibrational frequency that I can recognize as love. And I can pretty much know the difference from my lifetime of experience, at least this lifetime anyway, the difference between love, a loving vibration, and a fear-based vibration. They're very different things. Yes, I know. So somebody's saying, highway feedback. On my throat, as I said these words, my throat opened up. And it's funny how these words are exactly acceptance, meeting the pain where it is and be with it. Thank you. You're very welcome, Highway. This is so true. Thank you, Michael. I want to say too, Master Jesus talks about this. The statement, love those who disrespectfully treat you, is not about loving people who are being terrible people in the world. It's about recognizing that you've been given ideas and beliefs and information from the world that does not serve you. We watch mostly TV shows or movies or series are all about not trusting each other, about somebody's going to betray you. You should be afraid of that. That type of nonsense going into your mind is the thing that you need to learn to transcend. Stop watching that stuff for starters. But then that stuff lives in your mind. What you allow in your mind will live in there unless you cast it out. Which Master Jesus talked about, cast out the demons, right? And there are thoughts, ideas, and information that's put in your mind by these dark beings on the planet. Now, these people that run by their shadow self. That's put in your mind through these so-called entertainment to keep you in your shadow self, right? They want to keep you in your shadow self because if you wake up, they will have no power or authority over you anymore, or humanity. But thank you for sharing that, Highway. Really appreciate that feedback. It's so important when you have an experience here. If you make a request for guidance or a healing, or you want a question answered, you give other people an opportunity to experience transformation and change, and know that it's not just something that's being said through this body, but it's something that people are actually experiencing viscerally through their own application of the truth. Love is a function of healing. I want to say those words again. Love is a function of healing. Fear is a function of suffering. Right? Remember that. Remember that. Somebody from Norway. Hi, from Norway. I talk to God, Jesus, and angels every day, and I have most of my life. But I don't feel close to them. I feel lonely and long for a deeper connection. Anything I can do. Monica, that's a great question. And meditation, which we're going to do a short meditation here in a few minutes. Learning to sit your body down. This would be so much fun for you. And I would really love to hear back from you. I mean, you can do this right now if you want, Monica. If you want to just sit down, take a slow, deep breath. And when you exhale, let your body relax. Let your body completely relax as you exhale. And do that for like 2 breaths. And anybody else here who's listening to this can follow this. So do 2 deep breaths where you allow your body to relax. With each exhale, you give the body complete permission to relax. And then you turn your attention to the mind, that thinking part of your mind where all that noise is going on, and you breathe into the space of your mind, and breathe in there now. And as you exhale, you give your mind permission to be still. You just say, you can even use the word shh. And do 2 breaths like that, where you give your mind permission to be still, to be quiet, to be receptive. And as your mind gets quieter and quieter, say, I call upon the love, the light, and the truth of Ascended Master Jesus to be present with me now. Just think that in your mind. I call upon the love and the light of Ascended Master Jesus to be present with me now. And then allow yourself to receive what you are able to receive at this time, because we can only receive what we're ready to receive. We cannot receive that which we're not ready to receive. And again, Monica, just share your experiences with other people. Thank you, brother. So I can feel the Master coming in. Whenever Master Jesus comes into my field, I feel this incredible warmth and heat. It's incredible. It's a beautiful thing. Master Jesus is not the only Ascended Master here to help humanity. There are many beings here to help humanity right now. Yes, your mom will be fine. I want to say thank you to all the people on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook that send love to each other here, and that understand what this time is for humanity. That it doesn't matter what your age is. This is a time for humanity to must choose between fear and love. Our emotions affect time, space, and matter. A lot of scientists disagree with me on this truth because they need to be able to have an instrument that measures it. But they aren't able to measure consciousness yet, or the effect of an emotional field as it radiates out from your body, or the concentric emanation of thoughts from the skull cavity of the brain. They're beginning to do that. There's a couple of individuals like Dr. Joe Dispenza doing some profound research in developing the scientific technology to validate what you're hearing here. But come to that place in yourself where you get free of your fear. Overcome your shadow. Put it into service, not servitude. You don't want to make your body look down on your body or attack it. You want to ennoble it and love it. You want to come to a place of love and gratitude, because the body that you're in right now, the body that we're all in right now, is a one of a kind. It's the most exquisite creation ever made by God's hands, if I can use that term. And you'll never see another body like the one you have right now. If you understood the perfection of what you are living in, you would be so grateful. If you understood that the body you were given was given because it provided you with unique opportunities to gain a level of understanding and comprehension about your function as a divine consciousness, you'd be in a much better relationship with your body. You'd be treating it very differently. If you understood that there's only 2 functions that you can perform in this existence of creation, that is either love or fear. If you understand that, if you come to an understanding of that, you would never be ungrateful for what you have been given. Even the most difficult things that you've experienced in life, if you understand the nature of your existence and the function of your consciousness to ascend itself to an expression of high functioning love and creativity, then even the most difficult events in your life will be great gifts that will be opened and understood one day. And I can speak from personal experience, because I went through some very deep difficulties in my childhood. There was a lot of abuse, sexually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, for 7 years. And I would not change a moment of that now, because it's through that and through many years of suffering that came after that. There were many years of suffering. I came to an understanding, and the blessing of my understanding is the ability now I have to tap into and tune into these divine beings who offer me knowledge and wisdom to share with all of you. That your suffering has a value, the opportunity for you to lift yourself up to a higher expression of yourself than you currently think is existing. And the whole concept that Michael's talking about earlier about the shadow, like literally, like you have a shadow that you must learn to overcome and train it, and to love it, and to respect it, and to put it into right its right service to you. And your body is that shadow. And you need to teach it lovingly and respectfully and make it do the right things. You have to teach it that. And most of what you're learning from the world is not teaching you to do that. Most of what you're hearing from the world is teaching you to be afraid, to not trust, to depend on somebody else to fix you. You know, the whole concept, yeah, I won't. Okay, sorry. I was going to go on to something Michael said, no, don't do that. So we're not going to do that. I won't go to that. Okay. Oh, you're very welcome. Oh, that's very kind of you to say that. I can't say I'm the best soul in Canada. There are some really beautiful souls in Canada. There's some beautiful souls all over the world. A bunch of you are right here. Those, it takes one to know one, right? So if you think I'm a beautiful soul, that means you're a beautiful soul. It takes one to know one, right? Josani, that's okay, Josny. It's okay to say somebody's fake. You're free to have your opinion. And regardless of your opinion, it's not going to change the fact that I send blessings and love to you, period. Because I'm grateful that you have the ability and the opportunity to express your thoughts in any way you see fit here. You know, but again, there's always a distinction between a thought that's expressed from love and a thought that's expressed from fear. And if you question that very carefully on a day-to-day basis, a moment-to-moment basis, what you are thinking is what you're saying is what you're doing, a function of love or a function of fear. Really easy. So I understand if you were in fear, you have my blessings. Oh, thank you, Tanya. I really appreciate that. It's kind. It takes one to know one. Someone is saying, Star. Hi, Star. Oh, no, that's Star. Any message from my guys today? Yes. Go out and ground right now. You want to get out on the earth. You want to get out on the earth, Star. Bare feet on the earth. Bare feet on the earth, right? If you're near a beach, put your feet in the sand down to where the sand starts to get wet, okay? Experience that if you're near a beach. A is asking, does having a pentagram star on your palm mean anything? Someone mentioned it, and I can't unsee it. Again, there is so much fear and uncertainty being projected into the minds of humanity right now by a handful of those who are already lost to the shadow. Many of your world leaders are lost to their shadow. And so those that would give you ideas or conceptions that would cause you to fear, we would highly encourage that you consider not listening to them. That would tell you that you are here to function lovingly, creatively, intelligently, compassionately. Pay heed to their words. Understand. Now, for me personally, symbols can have their value, but things only mean what you think they mean. And that pentagram on your hand just is that, whatever you think it means. It can mean that you are, as Archangel Metatron told me, a lot of geometric symbols and signatures are for specific types of energy. And I'm getting very strongly, I'm tapping into him now, I'm getting very strongly that hand that you have the pentagram on is a hand that you can heal with. You can actually extend healing energy to people through that symbol, right? You can extend healing energy through that hand. Just keep that in mind. If you don't believe what's being said, then take that hand and place it over the heart and feel what happens in the heart. You'll of course feel the sensation of heat, which is the heat transference from one part of the body to the other, but go deeper into the feeling. Not just the sensation of heat, but go deeper into the feeling. And just let yourself experience the energy that flows from your hand into your own body. And you could offer that kind of healing to others. Again, the function of healing, you need to have an understanding of proper thought and proper thinking. And healing is an art of understanding the power of suggestion and the ability to communicate an intention as an energy that induces changes in the consciousness of the cells of an individual's body or the structure of their personality construct. Right? Very different. So somebody's saying, I have a stressful job. How can I be free from this stress every second? By doing and being love. I got to tell you, before this all happened to me, I was working in a steel fabrication plant as a production manager. And fascinating thing, I was told that if I wanted to leave that job, I had to do that job with as much love as possible every second. I had to do everything, whether it was cleaning the toilets or working with other employees. Didn't matter what I did, I was to do it with love. Archangel Michael said, do that with love every single day, and we'll tell you when you're ready. And literally 6 months to the day after he said that, he said, you can leave now. And I did. And all of a sudden, now I'm doing all of this. So that's what I would say to you, what was said to me. Do every job, every part of that job with an intention of love and respect for it. Do every facet of that job you're in with love and respect. And don't make it a job, make it an extension of your love. Because whatever you're doing, make it an extension of your love. Whatever you're going to do, make it an extension of love, not an extension of fear. And a lot of people are, again, in jobs because of survival. But if you shift your consciousness and you're doing the job because I want to express my love and my talent and my skill, you're going to change your life. You're going to change your life real quick. Somebody said, just so everybody knows, tomorrow, Sunday night, 7 p.m., I'm coming live on TikTok only on Sunday evening. And first of all, I want to say my YouTube subscribers and supporters, thank you so much. You guys are always been with me for the last 4.5 years. We started with you, and it keeps growing every day. Those of you on TikTok, you can sign up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, watch hundreds of different sessions that have happened here. So somebody's saying, Lisa B is saying, thank you so much. My body was shivering as you spoke. I often come to tears, but it feels joyful. Congratulations. Remember, I'm not more special than anybody else. I've just been given information, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from ascended masters and other multidimensional beings that I channel that energy. And I channel the energy of Master Jesus. I channel the energy of Buddha. I channel the energy of these beings. I'm not the same personality there, but I'm blessed with being able to allow that type of quality of energy to flow through to you. But you can do the same thing, and you just did it. When you allow yourself to experience a different energy, and you can distinguish if the energy is good or not, because there are lots of people channeling dark energy right now, right? Every function you perform should be a function of love. Every thought you think should be a function of love. And even if you disagree, if your disagreement is based on truth, then it's a function of love. Truth is also a function of love, and that's important to note. Truth is also a function of love. So thank you so much, Christopher. I really appreciate it. Yes. Darshani wants to know how my mom is. Your mom is reincarnated already, Darshani. I can still tune into her higher self. The love is unbroken. The love is unbroken. This is true for all of you. But she's in a new incarnation now. Where can I pinpoint where? I'm getting somewhere like in central, like around like Turkey, a place like that. Turkey, right in there, like in that area. But Turkey keeps coming really strong. But that's where her incarnation is at this time. Thank you so much. Someone's saying, hi, Mr. Christie. He says, I'm the most unclear in my life I have ever been. I don't know what to do. Well, let's give you something to consider. Because doing, from a male perspective, doing is very important to a man, right? Being able to do something is really important. It gives you life value and meaning. So let's give you this to do. Mr. Christie, I love that name. You make good cookies. It comes in my mind. That's just programming, right? Look at that. That statement in my mind from years ago. And all it takes is a little trigger to activate that information. And much of what you watch on television is put in your mind, and they can activate it when they want to. So, Mr. Christie, I want you to just take a deep breath. And I want you to take your right hand and your left hand, and I want you to put the right hand over your heart center. In Eastern mysticism, they call it the heart chakra. And then put your left hand on top of that. And as you do that, take a slow, deep breath. And exhale, allow the body to relax. And then take one more slow, deep breath. And as you exhale, give your mind permission to be still. Just let the thoughts go as you exhale. Keep your attention on the space where your two hands are upon your chest now. and think and speak these words. I am open and receptive to receiving the guidance I need at this time. And repeat that twice. I am open and receptive to receiving the guidance I need at this time. And just be aware of the sensation or energy that you feel. Because what you're doing is you're communicating to the shadow self, which is based in survival. When you're saying those words, you're communicating to it, saying, you're telling this to be open and receptive to receiving guidance, right? Which means it's more open and receptive to what you are as a spiritual consciousness. The sensation you get, rest in the sensation for a few minutes, the feeling, the energy that comes from making that statement. You can repeat it several more times if you need to gain familiarity with how you, by thinking and speaking those words, are creating an energy that makes you open and receptive to receiving guidance. Because we do want to be open and receptive to receiving guidance, but we want to be open and receptive to the right guidance, right? And what is the right guidance? The right guidance is a function of love, right? Someone or something, if you can't find it yourself, but you're turning and you're saying, I need some guidance here. If you're sincerely open to it, do it from a place of I'm open and receptive, not I'm desperate. I'm open and receptive. It will come to you. And when it does, come over back to my channel someday and leave a question or a comment or do a stitch with one of my videos on TikTok and share what your experience is from this event today. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get around to, yeah, somebody said that. You're very welcome, Theodore. Remember, most people, so a couple other people are saying they're scared and don't know what to do with your life. Understand, you've been infested with fear. If you're watching TV shows and news, and they're designed to put fear in you, they keep you in your shadow self. Because if they can keep you in your shadow self, then you can't fulfill your creative process here. Because you don't need, humans don't need welfare. Humans don't need handouts. Humans need to connect to their divinity, and through their divinity can express creatively, and you don't need to depend upon any government or individuals once you understand how to function creatively. So they keep you in fear. Turn your attention away from anything that keeps you in a state of fear and align yourself to things that inspire you, empower you, uplift you, and you'll find that you'll get direction pretty quickly, right? Once you let go of the shadow self, your spiritual nature, your divinity starts to emerge. When you say, I'm not going to surrender this fear, I'm not going to let this stuff go in my head anymore, you stop engaging in these shadow energies, which is fear, guilt, shame, anger, mistrust, attacking, blaming. Those are all functions of the shadow self, which is survival-based, as Michael was saying earlier. And you want to get out of that survival-based energy. And the system, most of the global governments, are keeping people in their shadow selves deliberately by the laws and rules they make, by leveraging your income and taking from you what you've earned, because it keeps you in survival. And as long as you're in survival, you cannot create. You cannot create anything from a place of survival. You can only create from a place of love. You can create suffering from survival. And that's what they do. They create suffering. They take and they create suffering. But get away from those things that do that. Someone's saying, I have to take a driving test next month. Do you think I will be successful in the first attempt? Yes, but you have to feel that first. If you are, the day before you go for your driving test, spend about 15 minutes the day before. And you can do this now. If you already had your driver's license, and ask yourself that question, how would I feel if I already had my driver's license? And the feeling that question stimulates is the feeling you want to leverage and give attention to. You'd feel great. You'd feel happy. You'd feel free. And that energy, when you get into that energy, that's the energy that will precipitate you passing the test. But a lot of people go into tests and they're afraid, and their fear causes them to fail, right? Because that's survival. If you go into the sensation of how good it feels to have passed this test already, that energy will actually propel you through it. It will make your mind clear and easy when you do it. It really will. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get into the, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So someone saying, I'm new to spirituality and meditation. I get frustrated because sometimes doubt enters my mind. There's nothing wrong with you. When you begin to awaken, when you begin to realize it's time to train your mind and train your body to be your servants and not your master, right? This is the story of the prodigal son, when not the prodigal son, but the master who comes home and his servants have taken over the house. And he's going, what the hell are you guys doing? And he puts the house in order. Your mind and your body are designed to be your servants, not your masters. In the beginning of awakening to your spirituality, to, if you want to use the term God or Master Jesus or Ascended Masters, whatever, when you start awakening your spirituality, you need to go through the process of teaching your mind and body to be what's going to be supportive of you. So it's natural that your mind is going to give you what's there. So in the beginning of meditation, for a lot of people, their mind's going, and they get doubt and they get fear and can't shut the mind up and it's going on. It's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's simply that your mind has a bunch of information, ideas you've acquired from the environment, and you've never been taught how to teach your mind to be quiet. You've been taught to listen to teachers, and you've been taught to listen to TV, and you've been taught to listen to all those other things. But now it's time to teach your mind to listen to you, to teach it stillness, to teach it stillness. And any thought that comes up to your mind, you can just gently, you can take a finger if you like and put it to your lips and go, just that sound. If you make just that sound right now, it can stimulate your mind into becoming quiet. And you can feel that. And when you start to feel your mind responding to you, now you are starting to assume authority over it. So there's nothing wrong with you. Even if you got doubt or shame or fear or guilt, it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's just that you've never been taught or shown how to work with your mind. You've been trained that other people can tell you what to think and what to say and what to do, but you've never been taught that you can train your own mind to think, to say, and to be as you need it to be. And the purpose of meditation is for that primary reason, to first and foremost teach your mind that it is your servant and not your master, that it is an instrument that you can use as an effect of your own free will. So be patient and be kind to yourself as you awaken. Be patient and kind to yourself as you awaken, because your mind is going to fight back. The shadow will fight, because that's what survival is. Survival is about fighting. It will perceive you as an enemy at first, and then as you stay loving towards it. I mean, there's wonderful stories in the Bhagavad Gita that talk about, Arjuna and Krishna in the forest and the lions, and how the wild animal was tamed by Krishna, whereas the other two had to either subdue it or surrender to it. And it's a metaphor for you being able to turn to your mind and say, be still. I love you. Do not attack your mind. To understand your mind has been made up by the world, has been conditioned and filled with fear and doubt and guilt and shame by all the shows and stuff you've been watching. And the minute you turn your attention away from all that stuff and you say to your mind, I am here to give you peace. I am here to give you peace. And you use the function of your breath to teach your body, to teach your mind, to be open, to be receptive. And so as we move around now to the meditation part of today, I'm going to put this up on the screen. For those of you on TikTok, you will not see this. For those of you that are on YouTube, you will see this. So it says, breathe slowly and deeply. So you want to get your body into a position that's going to be comfortable for about 5 minutes. We'll do like 5 minutes. It's all you need to get your feet wet. And then you can just apply this or extend the length of time you do it. But use these simple principles. This is as simple as we can possibly make it for anybody to begin the process of restoring their proper authority over their mind and body. And be patient and kind to yourself, because some of you can be really have a mind that's like in screaming anxiety or deep depression. That's not because of you. It's just that the mind has been conditioned that way. It's not because of you. It's because your mind has been trained that way by your experiences, and you can now teach your mind a new way of being. So breathe slowly and deeply after getting your body in a comfortable position. And as you exhale, give your body permission to relax. Notice that when you exhale, it's automatic that your body will relax. And then breathe in slowly again. Fill your lungs completely. And as you exhale, give your body permission to relax. Give all the muscles permission to relax. If any muscles are restless, just gently use your breath again and give those muscles permission to relax. You can do it. Just like asking your hand to pick up a glass, you can ask the muscles in your body to relax. And as you continue to breathe, the body will continue to automatically relax on the exhale. And now we want you to bring your attention to all of the thoughts, all of the memories, all the emotions that are in your mind. And we want you to breathe. Imagine you can breathe into the space of your mind, your memories, your emotions, and breathe in there now. And as you exhale, allow all the thoughts, all the memories, all the emotions to just become still, to become quiet. Exhale them from your body. Just like letting your muscles relax, you're giving your mind permission to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to your awareness. And breathe in again into the space in your mind. And as you exhale, release all the thoughts, all the memories, all the emotions from your mind. Give them permission to be still. You can even think to the thoughts, the memories, the emotions. Be still, be quiet, be peaceful. I am with you. Think that thought to them. Be still, be quiet, be peaceful. I am with you. And just repeat that thought to the space of your thoughts and emotions. Just be still, be quiet, be peaceful. I am with you. And as you think or speak those words, do so in a tone of voice that sounds sincere. It sounds like you really mean those words. Be still, be quiet, be peaceful. I am with you. And just continue to breathe and notice that each time you exhale, the thoughts will get quieter and the body will relax more. It will automatically do that because you're now directing it. By using your breath in this fashion, you're now asserting your authority over your body and your mind through this process of breathing. If any distractions are going on around you, simply take a deep breath, and as you exhale, bring your attention back to releasing the thoughts, the memories, the emotions. And you continue, if you choose to apply this process, utilizing your breath this way. They have told me that when you learn to use your breath in this fashion, you're actually asserting your divinity over the body. That by the intentional breath in, the deliberate request to allow the body to relax, by the deliberate request to direct your mind to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful because you're with it. This is a function of your will over your mind and body. As you do this more, it will get easier and easier to develop this position of authority over your body, loving authority. Do not yell or attack your mind and body. Simply be gentle with it. Be still, be quiet, be peaceful. I am with you. With each and every breath, feel how the body and mind surrender a little bit more and a little bit more. If there are any strong, persistent emotions that are negative, turn your attention to those emotions and speak or think these words to those emotions. I hear you. I will not ignore you. I will take care of you. And observe how that emotion responds. I hear you. I will not ignore you. I will take care of you. Always make certain that the internal tone of voice that you're using is sincere. Just observe how you apply that to your emotions, how they respond. As you feel them diminishing and changing in your interaction with them, you now are gaining more awareness of your autonomy over them, that you are in fact not subjective to your thoughts, your emotions, or your body in the way that you may have been led to believe, that they are indeed instruments for you to learn to utilize in your function of creation here. So you may choose to remain in that state if you wish, but practice this simple thing. You may do it longer or shorter as needed. This is simply the first steps of teaching your mind and your body and yourself that you are not subjective to your mind and body. They are indeed wonderful, unique instruments that you're here to learn to utilize effectively in the process of creation and learning here. You did not come here to be subjective to the body. You came here to utilize it, to understand the process of creation. Your mind, too, functions in a similar fashion, that it is not something you are meant to be subjective to, but something you are to learn to utilize in the process of creation, learning to create, to manifest, to produce a function of your divinity. And that is what we have for you today. I want to thank Archangel Michael and my guardian angel John being present. I want to thank Archangel Metatron for coming in. I want to thank the other beings that came in to present themselves to those who requested it. And I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your beautiful day to receive whatever you can receive and to give whatever you gave. For those of you that had experiences that felt altered and changed in some positive way, please remember to share that experience. For those of you on TikTok, you might need to go over my YouTube channel and leave your comments or experiences in there for other people to see, because when you can lift yourself out of your suffering, people will start to see you very differently. When you can learn to align yourself closer to love, people will pay attention in a very different way. But do not do it just to gain the attention of others. Do it because it is the right thing to do, to be your best expression of light in this world, your best expression of love, a representative of divinity, if you like, a representative of God, if you wish, that you are that here. And remember, there are many people that are caught in the shadow self. Most of them are running the planet right now. But that is a good opportunity, because they suffer too, whether they know it or not. Just because they have money and lavish lifestyles does not mean that they are fulfilled and happy. There are many who have great wealth that are not fulfilled. They have to keep themselves very busy to keep away from their discomfort. I think I'll take 2 more questions before we go, I'm told. Take 2 more questions. Yes. I love the way you guys support each other. It's beautiful. Yes, I will, Amanda. Thank you so much. I will have a wonderful day. Yes, somebody's asking, does everyone have guides? How do I connect to them? If you want to learn how to connect your guides, come to our masterclasses. They start June the 24th. Our new set of masterclasses begin June the 24th. And it's an introductory course called Awakening, which teaches you the fundamental steps of learning to train your mind and body to become instruments where you can receive guidance information from your guides, your angels, other ascended beings, Master Jesus, or whomever you would choose to interact with or get connected with, because they are individuals. They're just not in physical bodies. Your guides, your angels are literally individuals that do not have physical bodies. So their experience of understanding is different. But you can register for the course. It starts June the 24th. go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com. And again, you can also, if you want, for those of you that got your questions answered or others that want to know more, you can also go to my website or my Linktree bio on TikTok, and you can book a reading with me. Again, that's a whole other experience, because you will have things that happen in those readings that will blow your mind and change your life. And I've watched so many people. We've had 3 people have healings this week during their readings, and that's not necessarily what it's for, but that's what it was for them. And again, the reading is something that's going to help you come to an understanding that you need. Not about getting what somebody else needs, but experiencing what you need to experience and know to produce your best life in this physical dimension. Someone asking me, how do messages come to me? I've learned they come to me the minute I put my attention. Yes, I will. So the function of becoming a medium was very unique for me. I realize now I've been guided my whole life and not aware of it. And I think everybody knows that there's somebody looking out for them. But the actual process for receiving messages is twofold. One, getting my thinking mind out of the way, putting my fear aside, my desire to be right or wrong, putting my desire to be right or wrong aside, and simply being open and receptive to the vibrational truth that's the closest to an approximation of love that I can feel. So I feel information that's as close to the beings that are being requested to come in, whether it's your grandmother, your sister, your ascended master, whoever you're calling in. I wait, I put my mind aside, I try, my mind, that takes a lot of work. It's still a work in progress, where the mind tries to impose its thing into situations because of survival, right? Because the body-mind system is based in survival. The idea of being wrong can be a threat to the body. So you're training the mind to be open and receptive. That's step one. Getting the body relaxed, and then just being open to receiving the information. And then I wait for the right vibration. I wait until I can feel that this feels right. And then I ask the information to be revealed to me as words, as images, and it comes to me in the form that is presented. And then I represent it as best I can, while minimizing the way my mind might try to interpret that information. But that's the simplest way. But there is a process, and it is like any other skill. You learn to walk, and you didn't learn to walk right away. You learn to talk. You learn to hold a fork. You learn to tie shoes. All the things you learn to do, put your clothes on, took time. The practice of being a medium is a process of learning as well. There's a process of trial and error, not a process of right or wrong, a process of trial and error. If you try to learn anything from the process of right and wrong, you're going to have a very difficult time learning. If you learn from the process of trial and error, then you can learn more. You're not going to be afraid to make mistakes or errors, and you'll learn and grow. But thank you for that question. I really appreciate it. Oh, thank you. That's my alarm saying it's time to go. Darshani is saying, I will attempt to do my first drive test next month. If you're deciding to attempt it, Darshani, if you're saying, I will attempt it, you've already decided there's a chance you're going to fail. How would you feel if you already had passed the test? You now have your license. How are you feeling if you already had your license? That's the energy you want to get into. This is how I feel already having my license. And you want to go into your road test with that energy. I already have my license, and drive like you already have your license. It'll be much easier. But if you're saying I'm going to attempt it, you're already building in a chance you're going to fail. Someone's saying, should I pay for Akashic or quantum courses now, or wait a while? Well, actually, I would highly recommend that you take our courses if you want to really learn about the Akashic records and different things, connecting your guides and angels, getting information from sources that are beyond the limits of human conceptions. Come join our masterclasses. It's again, starts June the 24th. Go to my website, torontomedium.com or williammichaelforbes.com, and check out the courses there. But you do need to do some learning. So whether you take the quantum course or the Akashic record or our course, you do need learning, and I already know that you know that, right? But I would recommend ours. Okay, last thing. guys, I'm so grateful. There's so many questions here. I could keep going. And again, for those of you on TikTok, I will be live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And we can go deeply into a lot more. And again, so to my YouTube subscribers, my TikTok followers, my Facebook folks, thank you so much. I want to wish you all much love. I want you to have a wonderful and a joyful day. And I will see you guys on, for those of you on YouTube, I will see you guys on Monday in the morning Shortcuts for Your Soul live show. And TikTok, I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Remember this, follow me, like, subscribe, get this information out, share it with other people. Please share it with other people. This is so important. I can't stress that enough. So have yourselves a wonderful, joyful day, everybody. And Christopher, thank you so much for your support on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Con. Really appreciate it. Bye for now, everybody.